These are the 5 nootropics that every entrepreneur should take, in my opinion. Being an entrepreneur myself, running my own virtual practice, helping a lot of patients with ADHD and other entrepreneurs that struggle with focus and energy, and also having ADHD myself, these are ones that I've found effective for myself, but also for my entrepreneur patients. The very first one, there's actually 2 that are very similar, and this has to do with certain amino acids that I find to be deficient with a lot of my entrepreneur patients. And whenever I run amino acid tests to see, okay, which ones are deficient, ones that do come up is both glycine and also glutamate. Now, both glycine and glutamate are so essential for building and modulating a lot of different neurotransmitters. And one of the biggest neurotransmitters I'm referring to is dopamine. And dopamine requires several different types of amino acids in order to keep it at an adequate level. And both glycine and glutamate are very essential for that process. And if you are low on dopamine or low on those specific amino acids, you're going to feel low energy, but also even have lack of focus and motivation drive, which is so important as a business owner to be consistently having that focus throughout the day. So typically when I will see a patient that is deficient in both of these, I'll have them take about 1 gram of glycine and 1 gram of L-glutamate, pretty much first thing in the morning. And then if we need to up it up another gram, sometimes I will do that as a second dose to get that additional boost in the middle of the day. The second nootropic that I think is really great, this still goes along the same lines of the dopamine pathway. And way before dopamine is even built, there's an excitatory neurotransmitter called phenylethylalamine. Now that tends to be deficient with a lot of my entrepreneur patients, and that can impact drastically of your motivation and drive and focus throughout the day. And so the important nootropic to implement here is called L-phenylalanine, which is an important amino acid for not only helping building phenylethylalamine, but also it helps build tyrosine, which then tyrosine helps build L-dopa, which then L-dopa helps make and modulate building dopamine. For me personally, what I have found when I have been deficient in phenylethylalamine levels is that it helps significantly with my memory throughout the day. I also don't get distracted as far as remembering why I went to the computer in the first place or where I'm driving. I don't have that short-term memory issue, but also it helps me stay focused as well. So I love this one. This is probably one of my favorites that I use, but also a lot of my entrepreneur patients love this one as well when they're deficient in these levels. And the third nootropic that I think is so essential for entrepreneurs is a B complex. Now let me explain why this is so important. A B complex has all the different B vitamins, and I find that my entrepreneur patients tend to be deficient in a lot of very key B vitamins, such as like vitamin B6 and also vitamin B12 and even vitamin B3, which all 3 of these are so critical as cofactors to help building and modulating all these different neurotransmitters, not just dopamine, but also serotonin, which that can also impact your motivation as well. So when you are deficient in this can make all the difference for not only for your focus, but also for your energy. If you're low in vitamin B12, that is definitely going to impact your energy and your productivity throughout the day. Now, supplements can only take us so far. So if you are struggling with focus and energy as an entrepreneur, then you should download my all-day focus and energy guide for entrepreneurs, and that is in the description below. The fourth nootropic, this is related to any of my patients or clients that are entrepreneurs that are 40 or older. When I see my entrepreneur patients that are 40 or above, what I will find that tends to be deficient, that kind of creeps up, is there tends to be memory issues. But what I find when I do run different type of micronutrients or metabolites or any kind of that stuff, what I will find is that I will see both choline and also serine levels tend to be deficient. When we see those low, people will have issues with their memory. And if it's too low for too long, they can have a higher risk in things like dementia and Alzheimer's disease. We tend to see those levels decline in dementia patients. And so for not only to help improve your memory and recall throughout the day, but also prevent from having your memory issues getting any worse, is I'll incorporate something like phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylcholine to help with that. And for the fifth one, with every type of entrepreneur that I've ever worked with, myself included, is we tend to stress ourselves out significantly and we think we could do it all, and then we pile more onto our plate and we're just like, how can I handle all of this? So usually we still need to address the stress situation, not just for focus and energy, but also we need to look at what is impacting our stress and how can we start eliminating and decreasing that so we can be more efficient and just more present throughout the day is going to be really vital. And so one of my favorite types of nootropics to use to help combat this is l-theanine. Now, what I love about l-theanine is it's a great amino acid that does help give you that relaxing feeling without it having the sedative effects, so that you could still be effective throughout the day, but feel more relaxed. But the other thing that I do love about also l-theanine is it does cross the blood-brain barrier and it helps improve GABA levels, which GABA helps with our mood, but it also does impact both dopamine and serotonin. So it helps with all the different pathways. So this one by far is probably one of the ones that I probably recommend the most out of any of these ones because it helps in so many different levels for my entrepreneur patients. And for a quick bonus one, I think is also important to keep in mind is entrepreneurs tend to burn themselves out, myself included back in the day. And so therefore you do need to support when you are reaching that burnout state. And a lot of times this has to do with your adrenals. It's what we call adrenal insufficiency syndrome, where your adrenals are probably not producing enough cortisol throughout the day to keep you up, to actually have that energy throughout the day. And so when this happens, and when I test for this, what I usually will recommend is something called adrenal desiccated. And this does help significantly when my entrepreneur patients tend to reach that burnout stage when they don't have any energy, and we start to improve those cortisol levels that they finally have not only more energy throughout the day, but also help them have focus throughout the day because energy definitely impacts focus. But like I was saying before, is supplements are great. It's just an initial stepping stone. There's definitely more to than just taking supplements to combat your low energy and your focus issues as an entrepreneur. So you should watch this video next where I dive in deep to how to maximize your focus and your energy as an entrepreneur. So watch this video next.